So what we have seen in Kafka is that it's a distributed streaming platform that has the publish and subscriber formats to the messaging systems in the form of stream of records. The fault tolerant storage, that means your data gets stored in your partitions in this log file inside this directory, and then it gets replicated to the various other machines when we define the replication. We'll go more in detail in the subsequent module, and it can process the record as they get published in the messaging systems, and it also provide efficient IO and batching, or you can even apply compression, which means when we publish the message from your producer, instead of sending one record at a time to your Kafka, you can push all together in one API invoke, and then you can push it. So you can apply the batch and you can apply the compression on top of that. That give you efficient IO while it stores the data in your log file. It's used to decouple the data stream. So you have your publisher and you have subscribers. So you decouples this two applications by using the intermediate broker or the Kafka. It provides enormous numbers of clients which use the wire protocol for inserting or consuming the message from your broker. It has a first-class support for Java, Python, and Scala, and there are around 16 to 17 language you can use to connect to the Kafka for producing or consuming the message to that. Now at the end, if you have to deploy your Kafka ecosystems in your environment, what you have to do is you need to first install a component called zookeeper. There is a way of deploying without zookeeper, but it is not in the production ready. So till now, we'll talk about deploying the Kafka with the zookeeper. And then you have enormous number of brokers. These brokers are nothing your Kafka. So when you are trying to install Kafka in your environment, the first thing that you need to install is your zookeeper. And then you need to have you can have multiple instances as a part of your Kafka cluster. So if you have to start minimal, then you can have one zookeeper instance plus the one broker, and you can keep on adding it to increase the number of broker in your ecosystems. In this example, we are having one zookeeper and multiple broker to that and the multiple Kafka instance. In production environment, it's recommended to install the multiple zookeeper again. We are going to have a separate modules on zookeeper. Okay, so the zookeeper role is to maintain the list of the brokers. So whatever, suppose we have 6, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 broker. So all this information is going to store out here. Say for example, there is one directory created in zookeeper called the term that was used in the zookeeper is called znode. In the znode, the brokers, we are going to have these IDs and then list of the broker that you're going to have, say 0, 1, 2. In this example, we have a broker ID called 765. So that entry will be there, 7, 6, 5, 2, 3, and 4. These are the number that you assign to each of the broker. They cannot collide. So it maintains the list of the broker. So the role of the zookeeper is about coordination, where it maintains the list of the broker. Whenever you create a topic, for example, in the previous slide, we say that we create a topic called orders. And then if by default, it will create one partitions. So that information get again stored in your zookeeper. So it talks about that. the topics, and you can have multiple partitions that we'll talks about later on. And then it elects the controller. So for example, when we create this order, and with the partition 0, and we have a replication factor of 2. When we say replication factor of 2 means the same log, say for example, there's one log, gets stored in this broker, the same log will get replicated in the another broker instance. That's called the replications. Now, suppose this replication doesn't happen, then who has to instruct that the replication has not happened and instruct these brokers to replicate? That will be done by the controller. The Kafka ecosystems is a peer-to-peer cluster. However, at one point of time, one of the broker will elect as a controller. And how do you the ecosystem elect a controller is that there is one Z node called controller. Then whoever occupy the position first will become the controller broker for that particular ecosystem. So we'll see how the controller get elected in the zookeeper in the zookeeper module. And it also maintained the heartbeat information about the brokers that get registered as part of this zookeeper. That means each of this broker will tell to this zookeeper that I am alive. So there is a time setting called the TikTok time. Depending upon the configuration that the value of the TikTok time, each of the broker has to inform to the zookeeper saying that I'm alive. And if it doesn't send the heartbeats to the zookeeper within that predefined time, then the zookeeper will assume that this particular broker no longer exist. Then it will remove from the active list. So this all informations about coordination service are maintained in the zookeeper. So that's the role of the zookeeper. So when the zookeeper is down, then you won't be the application won't be able to access your topic because all the configurations are stored in the zookeeper. However, the information that is a message that gets stored in the log are not stored in the zookeeper. It gets stored in the broker individually. So when the zookeeper get died because of certain reason, and if you're able to bring it out, your data will be still maintained in your Kafka log. So only it store the metadata. So now, up till now, we have learned about the zookeeper. That's a coordination service. And we talks about multiple broker that store the messaging log. And we talks about the producer that sends the message to the topic, and then consumer consume the message from that particular topic. So in this module, we talks about the topic, we talks about the producer, we talks about consumer, and we also talks about the role of the zookeeper in the Kafka ecosystems. That's it for this module. In the next module, we'll talk about how to install Kafka in your environment.